Hey guys, my name is David DeMuzio.
And I'm Steve Cook.
And today we're going to talk about what kind of hair transplant is going to give you the most hair. FUE, follicular unit extraction, or FUT, follicular unit transplantation. At the end of the video, we're going to go into exact details with that. But first, we wanted to start off with something that I get a lot of questions about, and that Steve, seeing patients every day doing consultations, gets a lot of confused questions about from potential patients. So first, I'll read you a question that I got on this YouTube channel. Hi David, I have watched all of your videos. Thank you. You're awesome. My question is why, or they are awesome. I guess I'm not awesome. They are awesome. My question is, why do I get such a huge difference in estimates from different doctors? Most are close, but there are a few that claim almost double the graft and hair count in one procedure. Why would that be? So why would that be, Steve?
That's a great question, David.
And I don't know if this was an FUE or FUT. So why don't you explain in both cases, FUT or FUE, why people might be getting like a way higher quote from one doctor than they're receiving from maybe the majority of people they're checking in with.
To start off with, I think that the most important thing is to clarify that it's not how much hair you're being quoted, but it's how much good hair you're being quoted. Mm-hmm. If I may, I got a little diagram here, David.
All right.
And this is, please pardon my artwork. This, obviously, everybody knows that's watching this video because you guys are very educated, that this is the donor zone. So we have to understand that the best hair in most patients, not all patients, but most patients, is in the donor zone, right inside the center core of the donor zone. So there's no question about it that if you just look at the science between an FUT procedure and you're able to take out all the hair in the very center core, that is the very best hair. That is the procedure that is going to give you the most hair. Now,
For the most strong
For
hair.
the most strongest hair, thank you.
Yep.
Now, the issue is going to be where those that are watching the video that are big on FUE, and we're both pretty big on FUE now, is that you're going to say, well, no, I know someone that went somewhere and got fantastic hair and fantastic results and all these high numbers. Well, there are very few people where this entire donor zone strength, the strength of the hair, is the same down below near the nape of the neck and the same up top as we get higher to the crown, and even as we go around the sides where it's above the ear, the hair is that strong. That may be in a select few of, say, Middle Eastern men or Spanish men, but it is not the norm. It is not by far the average. So when we talk in the videos that are going to follow, when we talk about numbers and where these numbers are coming from, we all have to understand that to start off, the center core in the center of the donor zone is the very best hair.
Mm-hmm. Across the board in everyone.
Across the board in everyone,
Yep.
even those with fantastic hair everywhere, the center core is the best hair.
Gotcha.
So if you're forced to choose a procedure to get the very best hair in one area, it's definitely going to be the FUT procedure.
Because that's all. If they go for just that area. So I guess the issue, and a lot of doctors now, FUT doctors are doing this, I know. Unfortunately, I was a victim of one. They're going way outside of the donor zone. And so they inflate their numbers with saying that they can get you way more hair. Oh, but I can get you 14,000 hairs in one procedure. But the thing is, it's just not physically possible to get it from this area. So instead they have to go down and down and down. And suddenly it's like, okay, well, we got you that hair, but that's hair that is very susceptible to falling out in the future.
And it's not strong hair. So what you're doing is you're cheating the numbers. You're creating a larger surface area, but it's not all the quality hair.
Yeah.
And that's even if they're doing that. There's doctors out there, I'm not aware of any doctors specifically, but what I am aware of is I'm aware of people telling other people that there's astronomical numbers like 10,000, 12,000 hairs without even knowing the size of the guy's head.
Yeah.
Without even knowing the elasticity of the scalp. So it's really important to understand is we always have to talk on a worst case scenario, not a best case scenario, because that's where it all goes wrong. Our job, and what David and I have, I feel, done very well, is to educate you, and the viewers that are watching our channel are very intelligent and they do their due diligence. So we want to start off with just what makes sense, where the best hair is. We can talk about actual numbers in another video, but that's definitely the way to go, is directly across right over the called the occipital bone in the back of the head, which is about right here, and that is where the best hair is, no question about it.
Okay, so you're saying the most hair from the best area, the best place to get it is FUT.
That is correct.
Because of the way that the strip can be excised, is that the word?
Yeah.
From right in that area versus doing a lot of little punches in this area.
Correct, because let me put it another way, with what you just said.
Uh-huh.
Let's just say we do FUE and we just go for all that center core hair. Well, now you're going to have a blank strip because you've punched out all the hair
So
via
you're going to have
FUE.
this kind of scar, so to speak, there, but it's going to be actually much larger because it's not like one strip that's been excised and then sewn back together.
That's
which
correct.
is where you have this one little strip.
That's correct.
So now, in order to not have that large giant scar there doing FUE and to get those bigger numbers, what has to happen? Well, you have to go outside of this best donor area place, right? You have to go up a bit, you have to go down a bit, you have to go to the sides a bit, which in some cases might be fine, it might work out fine, but we're talking about a worse, you like to look at patients from what's the worst case, like if your hair keeps falling out the way, especially if you're a young guy, that it probably will. You don't want to transplant that hair from here up to there and then it fall out,
Right.
over time.
The whole point of this video specifically is to figure out, we've already determined you're either a better candidate for FUE or FUT, but specifically with this video is where do we get the best hair?
Yep.
So if you're not a good candidate for FUE, you're basically a bald guy, and you need as much hair as you can get, you're going to have to take all the hair out of the back of the head, a larger area, a bigger surface area, which will provide you with less quality hair. The numbers can go up as high as you want them to go up. They'll keep poking back there and take as many grafts as you want them to take.
Yep.
But what's it going to look like back there? That's defeating the whole purpose of FUE.
Okay.
So when you do an FUT procedure on a bald guy, you close the area, you've got all good quality hair, and then depending upon the elasticity, you can go back in there a few other times.
Yep, like I've had 3 surgeries. Yep, and then so like in my case, just because I know about me, so I've had 3 FUT surgeries, but I still could go back and get another FUE surgery in the future because all of that has been closed up, and so
Exactly.
whether I have the elasticity or not, same thing
Doesn't
with
matter.
Dr. McGrath, or one of our friends. He had, I think, 3 strip surgeries,
Yes.
right? He had 3 strip surgeries and then recently went back and got an FUE surgery and got the rest of his hairline filled in, and now he's an older guy, got a great head of hair, he looks great, and it's like a win for the hair transplant world versus he was, man, I saw his picture in his office, maybe 30 and almost completely bald, like horseshoe, bald up there. So a lot of comments that I get on my channel will be like, no, it's impossible. Hair transplants will just fall out. You can only lose. Don't get it done. It's going to be the worst decision. Unfortunately, it does end up being a bad decision for a lot of guys because they weren't taken through, the right steps, and they didn't get the right procedures from the right doctors in the right order and all that. But if it's done correctly, like in Dr. McGrath's case, Craig Ziering which is an excellent surgeon, did his first 3 procedures. And then he waited, a while. He got back on finasteride and was an older guy after having some kids, got his FUE procedure, and now he's an older guy with a great head of hair. So it's not impossible to end up being an old guy with a great head of hair who would have been a bald guy otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends upon the structure of what we hopefully are providing with our videos on how to make the best decisions. So all this is education and what can guide you. When you're hearing numbers, when you speak to some of the doctors that I refer patients to that see the videos, and you're hearing numbers like 6,000 hairs or 2,500 grafts, 3,000 grafts, 7,000 hairs from 4 or 5 different doctors, and then all of a sudden you hear 14,000 hairs,
Yeah.
or you hear 10,000 grafts. Those numbers make 0 sense. So my job is to make you aware of what goes on out there, and to make sure that you understand that if something sounds too good to be true, I think that it probably is.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, hopefully this answers you guys' question about the more important thing is where do you get the best hair from, and so that is FUT with that strip. But depending on, we have some other videos where we talk about why you might be a better FUE candidate than FUT. So if you watch those videos as well, I think once you put some of these together, you'll kind of get a little bit more of an understanding about why you might want to choose one surgery or the other, or choose both of them. Like, I'll most likely, when I get a bit older, hopefully I can take a little while. It's been 4 years since my last surgery, but do some kind of FUE surgery, or maybe by then they'll have like exosomes, like Dr. McGrath has been telling us about that he's been using. It's like a new kind of stem cell that's like regenerating hair. There's all kinds of things coming out, but the idea is to make a great plan to start with, and to put you on the path to the most chance of a very successful, happy, healthy head of hair.